Good afternoon, guys. I'm back and I'm going to do an update regarding this 10-gallon tank. There's a lot of changes as you can see here, and yeah, I've added fish. I would have to say these fish are impulse buy, although one of them is considered as my dream fish, and they're very tiny. So I'll just a recap. I started this 10-gallon tank on the 9th of July. Today is the 8th of August. And I actually added the first batch of fish on the 26th. But before I talk about that fish, I just want to say that I've added the rest of the cryptocorn parva from my 40 breeder. I removed all of it from my 40 breeder because it's taking a long time for them to grow out. I mean, I do have runners. I'll show you a quick clip of how they look like when I took it off the 40 breeder, and they have runners, but they're I know they will be slow growers, but it's taking way too long, and I decided to put everything in this 10-gallon tank, and then I will be placing dwarf sage in there. That I think that will look better in the tank, but I'll talk about that in another video. So yeah, I put root tabs, and I actually tested the tank. First time I actually tested the water in my fish tanks. I apologize, my daughters are playing, but yeah, I actually tested it for the first time. And just to let you guys know, before I added fish, my parameters was let me just show you what I used. I used these API test strips, and my parameters were they were for nitrate is 0, nitrite is 0. Surprisingly, my water's pH is 7.5, around that level, I guess. But I tested the 40 breeder, it's the same. My KH though, the carbonate's hardness is very high at 180, same with the general hardness, which is not really surprising because I live in San Antonio and our water supply is from an aquifer, so it's close to being rock water, basic, or liquid rock as they say. So 180. And I tested it because I'm planning to buy the first batch of fish, which is the Corys Pygmy, the Pygmy Corys. There you go. One of them is down here. I did a water change, so they're a bit skittish right now. But yeah, I've had Pygmy Corys before in a 20-gallon way back when I was in Fort Wayne, and I want a fish that can fit in a 10-gallon, that can school, that I can keep in bigger numbers. And I went actually to Reddit. There's a group I joined, and they when I was talking about the chilies, what would be the best tank mates, and they talk about Pygmy Corys, and I remember I had like 6 of these before. And so yeah, I would have to say though, it is an impulse buy. I went to the store here in San Antonio. There's a lot of fish stores here, but the store I went to is kind of known to have reasonable prices, and it is reasonable. If you buy four or more, it's like $1.60. In the other store where I actually bought the chili, the chili Rasboras, they're actually $6. So I don't know why they're so expensive there, but I took 10 basically. And they're doing absolutely great. I'll try. There's a perfect sample of what these guys do. They graze the rocks. I'm not sure. I think I was able to catch them grazing on biofilm. On the wood, on the manzanita wood here. But I'll try to look for any clips that I was able to save. But basically, when I purchased them, it didn't take a while before they adapted and acclimatized in the tank. And as you can see, they're very active, looking for food. And yeah, so yeah, but I would say it's an impulse buy simply because the tank is not that mature yet. Although when I did the 5 gallon breakdown video and then setting this up video, I told you guys that I actually used the water from a 40 breeder. So I used old, or basically tank water, and I think well, not I think it did an instant cycle. I know, I just watched it in YouTube. I did it here and it worked. Nitrates and nitrites again are 0, and then I used well, I used the 5 gallon tank filter. This is a new one which I'll talk about in a bit, but basically I have a mature established biomedia. So I'm happy that I was able to get these guys for a really good price and get a school of them. I might add 3 or more because these guys are tiny. I mean, I know this is just a 10-gallon tank, but yeah, they're small and they're utilizing that's another. And that's what I really like about them. They'll rest on the leaves and rest on the rock. And yeah, so really cool fish. And they're perfect grazing on the biofilm. I know there's biofilm because I was rearranging the manzanita and it was slippery, so there is a bit of a biofilm or slime there. And now I'll talk about the next fish. So this is one of my dream fish. I've known and learned about them about 8 years ago, and I've been wanting to keep them. However, when I was still in Fort Wayne at the time, I know I'll be leaving. I want to keep them long term. I don't want to keep them and then I'll leave after a couple of years. So finally, I'm able to get hold of them. Again, it's an impulse buy. Usually it is advised by experts to add new fish in about a month after the first batch. However, again, they don't last long. I don't know when they'll be stocked again, so I went for it. And I tested the water after a couple of days, and still my nitrates are 0, nitrites are 0. But yeah, my KH and GH still very hard. Of course, pH is around 7.5. Now, I know a lot of people will say they thrive in acidic waters. I definitely agree with that. However, it's also advised by a lot of aquarists, and in my experience, I'm not an expert, I would say experience is the better word, that rather than chasing a specific parameter, provide a more consistent pH, GH, and KH. And so the question, I guess, is we'll find out if they'll be longer lived in this kind of parameters. Some people had them for like 3 or 5 years. Others bred, in what I've read in the forums, after that time, but in an acidic conditions. But we'll find out. But this guys has adapted well. Again, today is the 12th. I purchased them on the 30th, so close to 2 weeks, and they actually colored up already. I'm sorry, the camera is having a hard time trying to get a close-up, but they are really tiny. When I purchased them, I can't believe how small they are. I know they're small, but not as I imagined that it would be. But yeah, so I have microworms. I've had the microworms for a month. I've been really trying to get a good culture of them, so that I have something to feed them. I'll show you a short video of them feeding on microworms. And then for flakes, I crushed New Life Spectrum. I still have a jar of that. However, I need something else that I think that should work better. And one of the things that came into mind was baby brine shrimp. However, they're a bit pricey, and don't really have much time to like prepare and harvest them in a daily basis. And so I'll show you guys what they're eating right now. So this I found from Amazon, ultra fresh newborn fish. It's around $9. So far the ingredients look really good, let me just check how small it is. It's slow sinking and 500 UM. And I'll show you another video when I fed them this for the first time. And you also saw earlier, and some of the particles are still actually floating. I turned off the power filter because I don't want to waste the food because it will just get filtered. But basically, it's really nice. This food is really nice. Some people were complaining in the reviews that it's like powder, because it is powder. It is really small. However, I'll show you how I prepare it right now. I just get water from the tank, put it in a container, and then I just put a little bit of this, and it goes a long way. The only reason that I put a lot right now is because I want you guys to see it. But basically, I only just put a little bit. I don't want to overfeed the tank. But you can see that it is floating, and it kind of reminds me of baby brine shrimp. It has, I don't know, it feels like it has that orange, pinkish, translucent color when you dump it into the tank. Anyway, I'm glad I found this because it's cheap. I know there are other out there in the market, but this is pretty cheap. And the ingredients looks good. It says it's 50%. Did they say this? 50% sword prawns and other ingredients. So I'm not sure if this company's been here for a while, been doing this for a while, but I just found them in Amazon. Anyway, yeah. So because of that, the fish are doing great. The chili Rasboras. Yeah, of course I have microworms, but now I don't have to crush the flakes. The Pygmy Corys though are very adaptable. They feed like again the biofilm. They go through the like this ones. They graze. That's what I can call it. They graze through the pea gravel, and they do that when I also give the micro food, and they'll search for anything that gets into the gravel, and they would really get into the spaces there, the small spaces in between those gravel. Now I know people are saying it might hurt them, but this is pea pebbles or pea gravel that are really round, no sharp stuff on it. Also the concern is the lava rock, because those are some rough edges there, but so far I haven't seen any major issues. I don't see them rubbing directly on it. I think they're picking up small foods and microorganisms there. So yeah. Oh, and during the time that when I finally got the chili Rasboras, the old filter broke down, and it broke down on the 4th, and I received it 2 days ago, the 10th. I'm sorry, I received the new one on the 10th, and this is the new one. But it was 6 days without filtration. I did a in-between, like a midweek water change, but I never had any losses between the Pygmy Corys and the chili Rasboras. And I'm very impressed. I think, and this is something that I'll base in my experience. I won't say this is what everyone should do, but I believe that by doing or adding old tank water in this tank, I really did that instant cycle. And of course I used the old biofiltration from the previous filter. And what I got here is, I'm glad also that broke down, because I found out about this Marina Slim S10. What I love about this is the pump is in water, so no need to prime it if the power, if there's a blackout, if there's a storm or anything. I won't be worried about priming the filter, it self primes. And what I do is when I feed them, which makes it easier, I just turn it off. I don't need to prime it when I need to turn it on. And so 6 days of no filtration, and the fish are doing good. And I believe these fish are pretty hardy if they're placed in a not established, again, this is just a new tank, but I guess a well cycled tank with the plants. And I believe the plants also help a lot. I mean, look at all those roots. The monstera would need a lot of nutrients to be able to produce those roots. So I would absolutely say that it took a lot of those toxins out, nitrates or nitrites. And yeah, very happy about the decisions I made, although again, it's an impulse buy and might not work for everyone, but it's doing great. A month and 3 days, never lost a fish, lost maybe a couple of shrimp, but that's it. I still have all of the Pygmy Corys and 11 of the chili Rasboras, and yeah. Oh, the other thing, I've been feeding them, and what's that in there? I'm sorry, my kids are unruly right now, but is that gel food. It's pretty small right now because they've been eating it the whole morning, and it's a Repashy Community Plus. Another good food. I tried the Solient Green before, but for these ones, they're not algae eaters really, so I want something that's general for every fish and also for the 40 breeder. And what I also did during the time that I don't have this yet, I used the powder form of the Repashy and mix it in water and dump it in there. So yeah, so that's a quick update, or not a quick update, the video's been long, but yeah, 11 chili Rasboras and 10 Pygmy Corys. Very happy. Sorry they're a bit skittish right now, but they're kind of comfortable in their new home since I got them. So yeah, so thank you guys. Any questions, any suggestions, please let me know. Any comments, please hit the like and subscribe, and have a good one. Bye.